Skirt steak is an extremely underrated cut of steak compared to the more popular cuts you always see, like ribeye, New York strip, and filet mignon, and here's why. From a lifestyle perspective, it often goes on sale, which is exactly why I bought this one. 2, it cooks extremely fast, so you can put dinner on the table in minutes. And lastly, it's really versatile for tacos, stir fries, steak salads, or just straight from the grill. And today I'm gonna make a quick kind of fajita skirt steak rice bowl. Should be very quick and easy and very good, so let's cook. Okay, so as always on this channel, we're gonna do things basically live, no cuts. So if I mess up, it happens. So what we're gonna do is, I'm not gonna like cut this up into pieces. I'm actually just gonna sear it whole. We'll just add some salt to it. But I will cut up the vegetables for kind of fajita vegetables, I guess. So we're gonna cut them pretty thin. And then, just mix them up with some oil, and I think I'll throw maybe a little cumin seed or something in them. So want them on the thinner side. So we're gonna use a red pepper, and then I have like a half of a serrano that needs to be used up. It's going a little dry. So that'll add a little bit of spiciness for us. And then get my onion discard as well. But yeah, I feel like I always kind of forget about skirt steak myself. And then yeah, I happen to see this one in the at the grocery store. I was like, you know what? Let me grab that thing and you know, make a quick dinner, because it really is one of those perfect quick little dinner cuts. You know, you can usually find them for like a decent price. And they also taste really good too. They're actually pretty beefy because of the little fat and in there. And then another thing that's kind of nice about them, depending on how you think about it, is no matter how you cook it, it's kind of a little bit chewy. And that's kind of the point of it. Like, it's bigger muscle fibers, so it's gonna be a little bit chewier than other steaks, you know, which is why we like those. But, you know, I think it's a nice contrast from like, you know, a filet mignon or you know, a New York strip, which are pretty expensive most of the time. And yeah, I think instead of looking at chewiness as like, you know, a bug, if you will, like a computer bug, think of it as a feature in this case. Like, skirt steaks are just a little bit chewy. And then what we need to do once I serve it is just cut it really thin, and it's not gonna be like, you know, it's not gonna be like ultra chewy, like you don't wanna eat it, but it's just it is gonna be more chewy just because of the bigger muscle fibers. And I think I'm gonna save this guy. I'll use this for something. I don't want my ratio of red pepper to onion to be too off here. Yeah, and then like I said, I'm gonna do a quick, all we're gonna do to season these is a little bit of salt. So, boom. A little bit of oil. And then a little bit of cumin, which, oh yeah, I think I'm out. I forgot to get some. Or no, I didn't. I did restock it. I thought I didn't restock it, but I did. So then, yeah, a sprinkle of some cumin seeds, which I really like. And then that's kind of gonna be our little like, yeah, a little vegetable mix. And then for our skirt steak, also, I'm not using a different salt on purpose. I got this out for a video, and then I'm just trying to use it up. So this is actually some finer table salt. But actually, this might work well to kind of get in the little cracks and crevices of this steak. And since I'm not doing a brine or anything, you know, it's actually a good use case. Like, what salt you buy, as I kind of found out in the deep dive video, it doesn't really matter all that much. Like, it's far more important to learn how to use the salt you have. not like buying like a really expensive salt is not going to help you make better food. Learning how to use the salt you have is how you make better food. Okay, so I've got the vegetables, we've got the steak. I'm going to transfer you back here. See you in a second. Okay, so I've got the steak, we've got the vegetables. Decided to mess around with the camera angles a little bit. So let me know if you guys like this angle. I'm going to throw the vegetables on first, just to kind of give them like an initial little sear, and then I'll slide them up to the top. Then we'll cook the steak, then bring the vegetables back down and kind of like steam the steak, or steam the vegetables underneath the cooked steak then. I don't know why, just that's kind of what I was doing in my head. And then as far as other components go, I've got a little bit of leftover rice. And actually I think it's like a really small little bit of leftover rice. I've got some salsa verde in the freezer that I need to pull out. I think some pickled onions. And really that's it. It's kind of a basic meal. I kind of need to use up some things, so you know that's what it's going to be. So a little bit of rice, pickled onions, some crema. Keep it simple. You know, trying to actually use my leftovers up, because one of the hard parts about making like food videos is that, you know, yes, I can, you know, buy groceries and stuff like under the business, but then I end up with a lot of things that go to waste, or that can potentially go to waste, which I don't like to. Or if you were on like a big set or something, or like a big photo shoot, I don't think a lot of people, like a lot of that food really just does kind of end up going to waste. But like for me, I like to actually use up what I'm doing, which is why I like this channel. I don't feel the need to like buy brand new ingredients every single time. Like this is a better reflection of like how I actually eat as a home cook. It's not like, you know, what I start with a quarter of an onion here, like a half of a kind of a shriveled serrano, and then the bell pepper was fresh. And then I saw this at the store. It was nothing like, no master plan behind it. It was just like, hey, I need to cook dinner tonight. It's, you know, a little after 6, so let's make some dinner. Okay, so these are kind of just getting a little bit of color on them. I'm gonna slide those up. And then you could, if you wanted those completely soft, you could go that route and let them cook, you know, for 15, 20 minutes. I kind of like when they have a little bit of bite to them. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do. Give another little squirt of oil here, and then we will lay down the skirt steak. And then I should probably pat this dry just because a little bit of moisture on it. So let you guys see here. Just gonna pat this dry on that top side, and then here, let's do that. And then we'll kind of dab the top side a little bit as well. And I'm gonna bring some of this oil down that's kind of leaking up the pan. And then, yeah, you can flip this as much as you want. Like, we'll kind of develop that browning so you can see. I'll bring this over, maybe, if it focuses. Nice. And then I'm gonna get, oop, hopper, watch out, buddy. I've got that hatch chili salsa verde, so I'm gonna warm some of that up from the freezer. Kind of breaking a couple bits. There we go. And then this side has like more fat on it. So you can see that kind of starting to render out. And then just like any other steak, you do want to be checking, you know, the temp, but like these are a little bit harder to temp. I'm floating about 90 right now, just because those muscle fibers are really thick. Yeah, 110. Ooh, let's throw this up. 120. Yeah, and then like I said, this one, you don't need to be super exact about it. So what I'm gonna do is actually kind of do one of these guys. Again, this probably doesn't do that much, but it's just gonna bring it up to temp. Then like those beef fat and things will kind of drip down into the vegetables and just make it feel a little bit more cohesive. Let's give it a flip. Yeah, the end's about 130, it's about done. Up here's a little bit thicker, so it's only like about 115, 120. But anyway, that's all the cooking we need to do, so I'm gonna shift everything back and let's make this quick rice bowl. All right. Okay, so we've got our steak. These vegetables, insanely good. A little spicy from the Serrano. Yeah, and then, so I had a very pathetic amount of rice. Mostly gonna be a steak bowl. We got our salsa verde, the crema, a little bit of pickled onions, I think we'll toss on there as well. That's Hopper, kind of, he's got a cough. And then yeah, for this steak, I find it's helpful actually to cut it into pieces. So basically, you can see these big, long muscle fibers that kind of run this way. So what we want to do is cut across this way. And this is very, very important for this particular steak. Ribeyes and New York strips and things of those nature are actually already cut across the grain. So it's not as big of a deal. I mean, you could cut it like this, but you're kind of just cutting down the fiber line. And like, it still tastes good. But if you cut it across, in here, hopefully I can see this a little bit better. If you cut across this way, you'll get like more tender pieces. And yeah, it looks like we got a nice kind of medium-ish there. Obviously, those outer edges are a little bit more, more done. And then yeah, it's fatty, it's beefy. It is seriously such an underrated cut. But yeah, like these, like in that piece right there, you can see, or here, this one. Yeah, I think like in that piece right there, you can see all those, like how it kind of just breaks apart. And that's why it's much more tender than if you cut down the grain, and Hopper smells this now, so he wants some. So you get this, that's the muscle fiber. Still chewy and good, but very different from that. Okay, so let me clean up my board a little bit. So we're going to do steak, some of our vegetables, and man, this looks kind of wimpy without more rice, but it's fine. And then I'll get a little extra steak on this side too. And then we'll do a little spoonful of our salsa verde. A little of the crema. Got a couple leaves of cilantro over here too. Again, bad looking cilantro. Don't judge trying to use up food. And these, gotta clean out this jar. This pickled onions, I feel like the jar is a little old. So do a little pickled onion. Yeah, these onions are definitely on the older side. And a little bit of cilantro. So this thing doesn't really look that sexy. Again, I'm just kind of in the mood to eat something very quickly. But let's get into this thing. Okay, then for me, I always got to mix everything up, make it look terrible. Let's give it a try though. With our small rice bowl. That right there, it's why it's such an underrated cut. Easy to make, nice and tender when you cut across the grain, mixes well with everything in there. It's, you know, it's fatty, you've got the freshness from the salsa. These vegetables are so good, are very poor amount of rice in there. But yeah, I'm gonna crush the rest of this. If you have a skirt steak near you, look in the aisle, see if something is on sale. Definitely worth picking one up, but that will wrap it up for me in this one. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace, y'all.